Right, Andrew, this is the 2011 question. I'm just going to run through it really quickly. You're given basic measurements. You have to draw an elevation and end view of this car seat. And we're told in part A that the elevation is based on a semi-ellipse. You're given the major minor axis. You have to have all the measurements, scales 1 to 2. So you're going to have your minor of 256 and your major of 360, and then have those measurements to draw it out. So half an ellipse, a semi-ellipse, based on your major circle, your minor circle, your 30-60 degree set squares, break it up and draw your semi-ellipse. Okay, so this is the one that I've pre-done. Okay, so if you can just ignore any of the constructions in the middle for the minute, just concentrate on the elliptical shape, the outer curve there. You're then told to drop down 40 to cut it off at the very top. So your elliptical shape is this outline here. Okay, and if you've any bother drawing the method for drawing an ellipse, just look up the junior cert videos on the channel on YouTube. Now the next stage of the question is to try and alright, and we're given kind of we're showing what it looks like anyway in the question, so we know what to look for. We're going to draw this by using the elements method. So for our elements method, we have our 4 points A, B, C and D. We find them in elevation, we find them in the end view. So we're going to see them in elevation as kind of a diamond shape, we see them in the end view as just 2 straight lines. Now the elements method involves breaking up different sides of that diamond in elevation into a number of parts. Okay, I've broken it up into 5 parts. So for example, the line that goes from A to B, I broke that up into 5 parts using my division of a line method. So the 5 parts would be 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parts, 4 dots. Top and bottom points. What you do is you break the alternative line, so the line that's opposite that. So the line that's opposite AB will be CD, and you break that up into the same amount of parts. So again, I use my division of a line method, and I found all my points there. And then all you're doing is passing those through each other. So we're going to pass them through each other until they hit the outer curve in elevation. So they're hitting the outline shape of the car seat. Okay, so these points here are all on the outline of my car shape. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and find those points in the end view. So to find them in the end view, what we're going to do is we're going to recreate each line. For example, I call this line 1. So that would be the line 1, 1. Now 1, 1 is a point. 1 is a point on CD. 1 is a point on AB. So I just recreate those points in the end view by dropping them over. So for instance, this is the point on CD. Drop it over. So that's point 1. The same line, that's the point on the line AB. Again, drop it over. That would be line 1. Draw that line. Continue it on. And I'm looking for where the curve hits that line. So I drop it over, cross over, and that's a point in my end view. Now you should see I've repeated that step for line 1, line 2, line 3, and then for the top line and for the bottom line. Okay, so altogether you'll have 6 elements by the end. Now when you draw them all out, you're going to end up with 3, and I could continue on the curve, so you have your base point as well. Get all those in place, sketch them in. You can have a neat curve going on the outline. Don't forget that you have to cut it off at this point here. So just bring that over and cut off the curve prematurely. Now to get the inside curve, what we're going to do is we're just going to try and guide a line along all these straight line elements that we've just drawn. So I'm going to draw them in heavy now just so they stand out. The lines I would have used to find my outer points. So that was 3, that's line 4, line 2, there and so on. And what you'll see on the inside is that you could draw a curve just kind of bordering all of those. So just follow that kind of path around about. Okay, it is inaccurate, but that's the method that we use. So you're just basically starting from your base point, and you're gradually just kind of touching it off all the elements as you pass around. Keep it as close as possible as you can, and then bring it up towards the top. Okay, so obviously you have to take your time and get a nice crisp line, neat line going along. And that's your elevation complete. Alright, sorry, your end view complete. Very, very straightforward question. The last part then is asking just to draw the profile of SS, and SS is where this top line is cut off. So we'll just label that up. So we're looking up in this direction. Get a true shape of it. What I did was I brought up the center line of it, and I brought up the extreme left and the extreme right. Okay. Pick a starting point for the center, so that's where the profile is going to start. And then we have to do is try and get measurements to go up. So how far do we go up left and right? And then we might do another one maybe in the middle just for accuracy. The way we're going to do that is by going to the end view. So what we're doing is we're measuring how wide is that line in the end view. Get that with our compass. And obviously that's how deep it is. So we mark that off on the right, we mark it off on the left. Okay. That will give us 3 points. Now 3 points isn't really enough to draw in a profile, it's too inaccurate, so we'll go for 2 more. And we'll do that by just picking off a random line. I end up picking just where one of the elements cuts it, because I know where that line is in end view as well. So for instance, where this line cuts it, I'm bringing that part up. I measured the same distance on the other side. I brought another line up, so they're 2 identical lines. And then I'm measuring from the very back of where that section is to where line 4 cuts it, because that's the line I'm using as a guide. So I measure that with my compass, and then mark it off on the 2 lines, and then that will give us a total of 5 points, and I would feel that's enough for you to sketch in the profile of that cut. It's cut SS. Okay. So overall, extremely easy question. You're doing semi-ellipse, your elements method to get your end view, and then you're just looking for a section cut of SS at the top of it. Alright, so hopefully that's okay for you.